Welcome to the Robot Systems tutorial on templates and their application to imported files. On screen, we have the shapes we'll be using for this tutorial. I have the shapes open in Adobe Illustrator to demonstrate how correctly naming and allocating shapes to layers can assist with the file creation. In this file, I have two layers, one called Knife Tool and the other called Pen Tool. For this example, we wish for the interior shapes to be drawn with the pen tool. These shapes are shown in blue. The exterior shape, shown in red, we wish to cut out with the knife tool. Note that the layer names must match identically to the group names used within Profiler. This includes any capitalization. Also note that while having matching layer names can be beneficial, is not entirely necessary, as will be demonstrated later in this tutorial. Now we have our source file, we will open up Profiler. Once Profiler is connected to the machine, you'll be prompted to home the machine. Check that the bed and gantry are clear of any obstructions before clicking Yes to home the machine. Now it's time to get started making our machining file. To do so, click File and then New RSQ from Template from the drop-down menu. In this example, we're using a template file called Single Sheet Knife and Pen. Click Open to load the template file. The first thing to take note of is that the template has provided us with some groups. These groups tell the machine what tool to use and how to use it when processing the shapes. Observe how these group names match the layer names that were shown in Adobe Illustrator. Templates also provide other information other than the tooling information here in the groups, such as the Z settings. These Z settings tell the machine at which height to operate the tools in relation to the tabletop. Additionally, the template tells the machine where to start processing the job in relation to the machine origin. To load the shapes, click File, Import, and then DXF. Navigate to where your source file is located and click Open to import the shapes. Now that the shapes have been loaded in, ensure that you click Left Justify. This will move the shapes to the correct position as specified by the template. Notice that in this example, the interior shapes are colored black. This corresponds to the pen tool group. The exterior shape is colored blue, which corresponds to the knife tool group. Now that the shapes have been assigned to groups, we need to worry about sequencing. The interior shapes with the pen tool need to be processed first before the exterior shape is cut with the knife tool. In order to sequence the shapes, access the toolbar at the top of the window and click Full Sequence. Select the shapes in the order that you want by left-clicking on them. It is best to process the interior shapes first, before the exterior shapes are cut, and set the material free from the source material. After selecting all the shapes, click the right mouse button to end the sequencing procedure. Given that you had the correct layer names set in the external program, then your first machining file is completed and ready to process. All that you need to do now is save the file by clicking on the Save icon. Choose where you wish to save the file, then give the file a name, and then click on the Save button. Now you have a completed file that has been saved and ready for processing. Next, we'll look at how to set up a file if you are unable to successfully name the layers correctly within the external program. Once the shapes have been imported, you can see in the group pane there are some extra groups. These groups have been created from the layers supplied from the external program. To correctly allocate the shapes to the groups that we want, you can select the Move to Group icon from the group pane. This time, to select the internal shapes, we will left-click and hold to drag a bounding box around them. Once all the shapes are selected, right-click to end the selection process. Now highlight the Pen tool group and click OK. Now re-enable the Move to Group tool by right-clicking your mouse button or by selecting the Move to Group icon from the group pane. Select the last external shape and then highlight Knife tool, then click OK. Now that we have correctly allocated our shapes to the groups, we are still left with the groups created by the layers from the external program. To clean this up, select the Groups button from the group pane. Highlight the unwanted groups one at a time and click Delete to remove them. Click OK once all the unwanted groups have been deleted. You are now at the point where you are ready to sequence your shapes and save the file.